Hi, I'm Sherry from Mass Realty. This is Real Estate 101. We have Sophie Yang here from Weymouth, Massachusetts, and she's actually a local there. And then we're going to ask her some questions about the neighborhood. Hi, Sophie. How are you?
Hi, Sherry. Good. How are you?
Good. So, Sophie, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and what you do for a living?
So I am a teacher at Boston Public Schools, and I would like to say I grew up in Weymouth. I attended middle school there and high school there. Um, so hopefully my information is valuable to everyone.
So, let me see. How long? Let's see. So, how long have you lived in Weymouth?
Since middle school. So I attended eighth grade in Weymouth, Abigail Adams Middle School, and then I went to Weymouth High School for 4 years there. So I would say 5 years plus all throughout my college years as well, with my
Did you go to
family.
college in where?
I went to college in Rhode Island, Newport, Rhode Island,
Okay.
but
So
I used to go back home. So yeah, it's been a while.
so young.
I won't reveal my age, but it's been a long time.
So, the neighborhood, right? Since you lived there, before now, and then has it changed a lot? Like, like the demographic, like, can you tell us a little bit about that?
I would say Weymouth is a town, but a city, so it's pretty big. But I would say it's pretty diverse in Weymouth. I'm growing up. There was a good amount of diverse students in schools. And we used to joke around in high school whenever we think about like 10 years down the road. Everyone used to say like, we're coming back here and living here. All my friends would be like, we are back here. We're going to live in Weymouth forever. Even if we go somewhere else, we're all going to come back to Weymouth. So it's a very, very close knit community. And that also stems from the fact that a lot of my friends in high school, this is besides from me, but they all went to the same primary school and attended all throughout elementary school, and then now they're middle school and they're in high school together. And I would say I don't connect with them anymore, but if I see their social media, some of them really kept their promise, and they all really do go back to Weymouth and raise their family and start their kids there. So I think it does leave a lasting impression, especially for my friends or my peers who grew up in Weymouth. So I think it's really valuable. For example, Weymouth has a lot of options for little ones to do sports. Where I know I did soccer. I know, Sherry, don't be surprised, but I did soccer. I did Weymouth soccer, the town soccer, so that gets the families all together, the community together. There's a lot of local fields out there that families can meet as well. And so I would say it's a good mix of people, demographic wise. A lot of young families. I'm not sure if young people are more going to Weymouth right now, I would say, but a lot of families, it's more like a lot of families like to raise their children and start a family in Weymouth.
It was very close knit. So do you know your neighbors pretty well then? Like your right side, left side, right? So mostly families as well. So it looks like a very close knit neighborhood, family oriented neighborhood. So that's good to know. So is there? Let me see. Do you have like a favorite spot in the neighborhood, like a restaurant or shops that you like to go to?
So right near my place, there is a pizzeria, Gio's Pizza. I'm like, am I gonna get like coupons too? Gio's Pizza it's a family favorite, so we always order our pizza from there. And when I was in high school, all the students, all my friends, whenever we had like study breaks or we can leave school for a little bit, because we have privileges, we used to drive down to Main Street, another little pizza place, and get fast food there. And I would say it closed. So I can't mention the closed businesses, right? But there was a lot of other.
Really?
There was a Chinese restaurant, Gourmet Oriental. That was a good one too, but it's right across from BJ's. But it's a different restaurant now.
The Chinese restaurant or no?
There was a Chinese restaurant a couple years ago. I don't know when they closed, but that was a crowd favorite. I know they used to have like karaoke nights as well. And let's see, a lot of
Is there like a good park to go to in the Weymouth area? Beach?
park. Oh yes, the Wasagusa Beach. It's right in. I always get my north, south, east, west wrong, but I think it's. I'm like, my Weymouth friends are going to be like, no, that's completely wrong. But I think it's North Weymouth. If it's Wasagusa Beach, is North Weymouth. It's right there. Parking is super convenient. All the locals go there. The way Wasagusa Beach. I would say Legion Field. They just recently, I would say it's been 2 to 3 years. They recently did the whole entire field. So brand new playground. The field is beautiful. The track, the kids can run around there. There's a lot of field for biking and just walking around casually. There's picnic tables also there too, and that's where a lot of the sports are held for Weymouth, town of Weymouth's sports. So
that's good to know. So it's big for the kids and stuff. So what about what do you think of the crime rate and the safety in the neighborhood? Like have you heard anything like crimes?
Crime rate, I would say Weymouth is safe. I remember even in maybe times have changed, I'm not sure, but in Weymouth, when I used to go to middle school in Abigail Adams Middle School, I lived so close to I would say it was like a 10 to 15 walking distance, but it was safe enough for me to walk home and to school by myself. Okay. Or sometimes, because like I said, it's a very close-knit community. So my friend would walk over from her house to my place and we would all walk to school together, or vice versa. Or I would say, or my mom used to drive me to school and then drop my dog off and then have me walk back home with my dog as like an exercise / walk my dog. So it is, and also because it is a close-knit community, all the neighbors are all watching for each other. I remember, when we went away for vacation for our family, I remember we just knocked on our neighbor's door and said, hey, we're going away, just letting you know, but we're going away. Is it okay if you just collect the mail for us? And she did it for us, and she even mowed the lawn for us to make sure it looks like somebody's living there. So it is a very close-knit community. So even if you don't feel safe, somebody will be watching out for you. And even growing up, I had my friends' parents most of them were all police officers too in the town of Weymouth. So I felt very safe and protected. And I didn't feel I didn't feel like there was violence, or I didn't hear any news about it, nothing like that. So.
Yeah, that's true. Very quiet. So, what do you think about the prices, house prices in Weymouth? Do you know any idea about that? Has it gone up, or what do you think in Weymouth, the house prices or in terms of rents too as well? Is it pretty affordable or?
So I did live in Weymouth in an apartment for a little bit, for a time being. I did live in an apartment complex in Weymouth, and I would say the rent was for 2-bedroom. It was, and it was there was a gym there, pool, heat and electricity were all covered. All those amenities were all there. And I paid for 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom. It was close to $1,900. So
how long was that ago? Sorry, 2 years ago, or is that recent?
So the funny story is that was, I would say 3 years ago, around 3 years ago. But I actually looked up the prices for the same place again, and there isn't really much of an increase. It's still basically the same.
Okay, that's very good.
Yeah. So I was very surprised. So it is very affordable. I would say for housing, it does fluctuate. I know my dad is always looking at different housing prices and all that, but I think the key selling point for Weymouth is that a lot of families go there. So obviously the houses, I think the apartments might be a little bit on the inexpensive side because a lot of people are looking to start a family, so buying homes for them. But I think houses right now are increasing in Weymouth just because, like I mentioned, it is a safe place to raise kids. A lot of close-knit communities and groups are always gathering and meeting. But because of that, I think house prices are increasing. But renting, I think, is a little bit more on the affordable side, I would say.
Yeah, I think in Boston, I think rent prices are just crazy. But then I think with the pandemic now, I think a lot of landlords are giving out free rent, like rent, or like because a lot of landlords are having trouble renting it out because a lot of people have moved back home, right? Or the college students haven't, they went back home to live. They don't live in dormitories or housing at all. So
yeah,
that's what's gonna happen. So where do you see yourself like living in the next 5 years? Do you think you'll move closer to the city, or do you think you're gonna
keep my promise with my high school friends and go back to go to Weymouth? So it's interesting because I love the location of Weymouth. And like Sherry, I do have a friend who lives in Weymouth at this time right now, and I do know a couple other families who live in Weymouth. I do love the location just because it is so close to things that I would enjoy, but it is still that little town of Weymouth. So like 5 minutes outside of Weymouth is Braintree, and then in 10 minutes you can go to Quincy, and then in like 15 minutes you're in the city of Boston. So it's not a far commute from other places that I would often go to. And even on the other aspect, like even Hingham, or even we used to go to, if we didn't want to go to the West Beach, we used to go to Nantucket, Hull. All those drives are pretty easy enough, and Weymouth is just like that key central location. So location-wise and safety-wise, it is such a pro for me, because I'm like, it is true, I would love to start a family here and raise my kids here. But as like a single person right now, I'm like, maybe it'd be better for me to go explore the city and live there for a little bit. But looking like, down the road, it wouldn't hurt to look into buying a property in Weymouth. But like I said, prices for houses in Weymouth are increasing. So I don't think I can do that as like a single person, but maybe with a significant other, it might be a little bit more doable.
That sounds good. Yeah, I think it's only gonna go up though, but like hopefully it will change. I mean, right now interest rates are so low right now. That's why a lot of people want to buy, but the inventory is very limited right now. So I don't know what's gonna go on. As a agent right now, it's just like there's just not that much going on. I mean, hopefully the inventory will be better. I mean, like I had a friend who made an offer to a place. No, she was a listing agent, right? Some place in, is it Braintree? She got 42 offers on the place.
Wow.
And it's crazy. I was like, whoa, what? I mean, it's very competitive. It's just, I don't know. It was over asking price too. So definitely, I don't know how much it is, but I'll find out later. But
wow. No, it is. I feel like you just mentioned, because of the pandemic, a lot of people are moving back home. So rental property might be a little bit more open, but I think a lot of people who have their property and own it are not really wanting to leave.
I know. I don't know what's going to go on. I mean, I think the incoming spring market is coming up, and it's going to be a very busy season already. So hopefully, I don't know, more people. I think more people want to sell. I don't know. There's a seller's market right now still, so we'll see what happens.
And I'm always on the lookout as like a first-time home buyer as well. It is. I always want to make sure I use that first-time home buyer rate. Like I want to use it. I want to be smart about it. I don't want to spend my low rate on something else. So I'm hoping, Sherry, you could assist me later down when I do need you. I was like, Sherry, I need your help.
Definitely. So thank you so much, Sophie, for helping us learn about Weymouth. You know what I mean? So do you have anything else that you want to finish off with us that that we might have missed? Anything else?
I would just say my experience, I can't say much as an adult, but definitely as a child growing up in Weymouth, it has been positive. And it's like I said, it's definitely something that I would love to let my children experience as well. And I used to always say when I used to go to school in Weymouth, I wish my parents decided to move here when I was younger, because all my friends that I had seriously went to school and since their primary age school, and they all stayed there through their high school, and some even went to college together. So it's like I wish my parents moved to Weymouth a little bit earlier, so that I did get to have my friends with me and develop that close relationship. So it has been a very positive experience for me growing up in Weymouth.
Well, you turned out totally fine.
Totally fine, I guess.
All right, thank you so much, Sophie.
Thank you, Sherry.
All right.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.